In 2019, I had the privilege of checking out online and I saw a teacher who was teaching about Airbnb. I knew nothing about Airbnb. However, I had been actually at several holiday destinations that used Airbnb, but I didn't know how. Like, can you make money out of it? Can you not? And at the time, I brought in all my team members that I was working with at the time, and I said, guys, we need to go and learn Airbnb. After doing that, we started then making our own money in Airbnb, but we only realized that Airbnb, we can't exactly do it full time. So within that, we started doing student accommodation, which is the thing that I do, and we would fuse it with Airbnb. So at the end of the year, all the students leave our properties. Round about end of October to November, they are gone. So the properties are empty at this time. So what do? The property is still there. Can you still make some money? Oh yes, it can. But how do you do it? I learned how to do Airbnb. And within that, then there is no drop in the income. I'm now making money in the Airbnb. We get the right je ne sais quoi. Yes. We get the right pictures. We get everything else that would make the next person comfortable. And in today's video, I am going to be speaking to Karen. Some of you know her. Some of you have been admiring her from a distance. But today she is live here with me. Karen, welcome.
Thank you, TJ. So what is it that you would like us to talk about today?
I think, Karen, we're going to talk about, for some people they probably don't know you, they haven't checked out the other videos we have done together. They probably just think that, oh, TJ has brought in another guest who's walking on water, this person is amazing. But they actually may not know that you're just simple Jane. You also here in South Africa, you have the same problems like you and I. Maybe let's start talking about where do you come from and who's Karen?
So I grew up on a nature reserve in the Eastern Cape of South Africa.
Right.
Both my parents worked for nature conservation.
Right.
So we lived outside of town for 13 years. I went to a tiny farm school.
Yeah.
We were about 36 children in the entire school, from sub A it was, in the Eastern Cape, to standard 5.
You're showing off how old you are then.
Ah, man, don't go there, don't go there. So, and in summer we went to school barefoot, so it was a really idyllic lifestyle.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized what I had back then until life became very serious. Right. So when life became serious, I went to study and got into the property game, and then life got really serious, and I think most of us go through some stage in our lives where we run out of paycheck before we run out of month. All of us at some stage must go through that.
Right, that's true.
So I got to a point where that was happening to me.
Yeah.
And I had bought this very same house where we're sitting today.
Yeah.
I bought it on auction because I was a big Robert Kiyosaki fan, I still am, read all his books, and I decided property was going to be my side thing, other than working in corporate. So I bought properties on auction and renovated them and put tenants in, and sometimes sold them. And I bought this particular house, renovated it and put a tenant in. And then after 6 months, the tenant started paying his rent later and later and later every month, until eventually I said, you just need to move out now, because I can't do this anymore. And then I moved in.
Right.
And then, as Robert Kiyosaki says, if it's not making you money, it's a liability.
Yeah.
If it makes you money, it's an asset.
That's right.
So then I moved in, and guess who had to pay all the bills? Me.
Mm-hmm.
With zero income.
Big liability.
Big liability.
Yeah.
So suddenly I got to a point where I ran out of paycheck before I ran out of month.
Right.
And then at that stage I was doing work in Mozambique on a shopping centre development,
Yeah.
and I wanted to learn to speak Portuguese.
Right.
So I took Portuguese language lessons
All right.
here in South Africa, in Johannesburg.
Right.
And one of the ladies in my class had an apartment in Randburg, and she mentioned one night in class, she mentioned Airbnb, and I said, what? And she said, no, it works like this and this, and I have a spare room, and I make some extra money, and I thought, I've got a spare room.
So wait. So you are in class to learn Bom dia, como está?
Yes.
And
Buenos dias.
right. And that was Portuguese for some of you who don't
Oh,
know.
a little bit of Spanish as well.
And whilst we are in it, you're in the class.
Yes.
You network with someone else.
Yes.
And you get an idea.
Yes.
And this is what now, 15 years later, the business is
10
gone.
years ago, 11 years ago, 2013, yeah.
I'm always encouraging everybody to say network.
Yeah.
And I think we overcomplicate what is networking, and you've just demonstrated here 101 on what is networking.
Networking can happen by accident, really.
Right.
But you need to be open to it. I'm a firm believer that nothing is going to come to you if you're not open for it.
Right. I like that. So there you are in the class, and she says to you, Airbnb, you've never heard about Airbnb. What then next?
I just went and had a look online, checked it out myself, and I thought, all right, well, I've got a spare room that's sitting here doing nothing.
Yeah.
I need some cash. Let me put it on Airbnb and see what happens.
Right.
But in those days, there was no YouTube, no coaching, nothing.
Yeah.
I had to figure it out myself.
I'm always telling people that they are like extremely privileged to have people like us having these conversations. Because also when I started off in property, the guys, again from Robert Kiyosaki's school, they were all coming from the UK. Everything that they were talking about was UK based.
Yes.
I had to translate it into South African, right? I'm like, now you guys, you get to hear it, and some people are still sitting on their bum, doing nothing. They're just following us. I do not want to have followers. Like strangers just following me. I want people to do stuff and improve their own journey.
Yeah, we want doers.
100%. So coming back to your journey of, so now you figuring Airbnb. Did you just register?
Let me put it mildly,
Yeah.
I was terrible at it.
Right.
I didn't know what I was doing. I don't come from a hospitality background.
Right.
I was completely clueless.
Yeah.
And I just learned through trial and error.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And through that, I put together my own systems and my own procedures to make things run smoother and to learn from my mistakes that I made before.
Right.
And that's how I eventually got going and how it eventually grew into what it is today.
So for people that are in the community of the tribe, we always talk about sometimes you win and sometimes you learn, right? And you speak of the mistakes that you went through. Had you just been winning, then you would have never learned and re-engineered your processes of, okay, this might work this way, this might work this way. But I then want to come back to the spare room, Karen. You're a female and you by yourself in this room, in this house, and now you're bringing in a stranger in your space. How did you deal with that? I almost want to say it, probably not fear, but a discomfort. How did you become comfortable in just bringing out anyone who's a TJ? Eh?
It is. I've always enjoyed traveling.
Right.
And I've always enjoyed meeting people.
Right.
And funny enough, just before I listed my space on Airbnb, probably 3 months prior, somebody also told me about couch surfing. And it's a friend of mine who's tried couch surfing. It was a website where you could also just list your space It can be as little as a couch, and you get travelers from all over the world who come and stay with you for free. And they made amazing friends like that.
Right.
So I did couch surfing. I think I had about 3 couch surfers, but they weren't paying me. Yeah, we became amazing friends, and they were traveling through the country, and they were from Philadelphia and Brazil. So
These are people coming to South Africa?
Coming to South Africa, yes. But that was years. Couch surfing, I don't think it exists anymore because it's been taken over by platforms like Airbnb, where people would rather get money, of course, for people to stay with you. But I've always enjoyed traveling, and I've always enjoyed meeting people. It is, and I know for all the newbies out there, when you get your first guest, idea what you are going to get. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the guest has no idea what he's going to get.
Right. So it's true, people who are freaking out on both
He
sides.
saw your pictures,
Yeah.
but is it for real?
Right.
From a new guest who's using Airbnb for the first time, you know, what am I going to get? I've seen the photos. Maybe you've written a bio about yourself that I can go and look up, and maybe you brand new and you don't have any reviews. How do I know what I'm getting?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that from both sides.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit like if I had to say to you, TJ, give me your phone, please. Can you give me your phone?
Right. I'll probably be thinking about it, and
Can you give me your phone and unlock it?
I'm not so sure if I can do that currently.
Why not?
There's sensitive stuff on here.
Yeah, but let's see how it goes. Unlock your phone and give it to me.
Okay, I've just unlocked my phone.
All right.
Yeah, I'm on a Samsung, this one.
Now, that's what you're feeling now.
Yeah.
Is what a host feels like when they open their home for the first time.
Dude, I'm extremely uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you know what I feel holding your phone and it's unlocked?
Yeah.
Incredibly respectful.
Right.
I know that this is not my property.
Right.
I know that you've entrusted me to hold this phone.
Right.
And if I want to gain your trust, I need to be respectful.
Oh, wow.
And that is how a guest feels when they walk through your door for the first time.
Right. Do you want to give it my phone?
You can now have your phone.
Wow. That's deep.
Because Joe Gebbia was one of the founding members of Airbnb. He said, the only thing more personal than your home is your phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all of us, we all have phones now. Some people even have 2.
Yes.
So,
That's questionable. That's a bit dodgy, don't you think? Why do you need 2 phones?
I've got a personal line and I've got a business line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just have one.
Okay.
Yeah.
My life is complicated. But let's move on. So here you are, Karen, now you've got your first tenant. And by the way, my blood pressure is still like going up and down with, giving you my phone. But here's the thing, right? So you were trying to solve a problem. And your problem was liability. And again, liability, if you got something and it's not making you money, that's what you had. At what point did the spare room become an asset to you?
Sure. As I said to you earlier, in the beginning, I was absolutely terrible at this Airbnb thing.
Yeah.
The first year, I made 2,000 Rand.
Right.
For the whole year.
For the whole year?
The whole year in my one little room.
Right.
And because I learned through trial and error, and I needed to learn the system, and I needed to learn the Airbnb platform, it took me a while. But the following year, I made 20 times what I made the year before.
Oh, wow.
Out of my little spare room, and that was only one. I started in 2013, so that was only 1 year later. And when that started happening, I thought to myself, hang on a second, you now on a roll, you've gained momentum. And then the second room became a spare room again because it was a study.
Right.
So I turned it back into a room.
Because it was working now.
It was working now.
So now you wanted to make triple the money now.
Yes.
Right. But wait. Before you got to spare room 2, I want to come to something else.
Yes.
365 days, you made 2 grand. Why didn't you go Herbalife? Why didn't you go Taurai? Why didn't you go crypto? Why didn't you go anything else?
Because
Because
there are so many other people who have been successful at this.
Right.
So
Did
if
you already
they
know them
can
in the
do
time?
it, no, but I've heard about them.
Okay.
And you read about them. And
So you're doing the research.
what is it that they are doing that I'm not doing?
Oh, that's good.
Because really, I can go and try all these other things, crypto, whatever,
Yeah.
but you're going to have to go through the same learning process.
Right.
So if I'm already in the process, I might just as well stick it out and find out how can I make this big.
Amazing stuff. My friends, do not go away. At the end of this video, Karen's going to share with us something else. The benefits of, what can I say? She's reaping a second benefit out of Airbnb, and something that she's going to be sharing with us, where she's now making like, if she was making like 2 grand and then she made like 20 times more, obviously this is much bigger. You want to listen to what else she is coming through down the video, so don't go away. But Karen, we speak about now you are in your first room, spare room, now you are in the second spare room, so now you've got 2 guests coming in. At what point did it become a business?
I can't tell you it was a specific day or an event.
Right.
But I think it was my bookkeeper who at one stage, because in the beginning I put all of this through as my personal income, personal capacity.
Ooh.
So my bookkeeper who was doing my tax every year said, hang on a second,
Yeah.
this is now getting to a point where you should consider starting a PTY and putting all of these expenses and stuff through your PTY.
Right.
And that's when I realized, hang on a second, this is actually doing exactly what I wanted it to do. It's
Right.
turning into a very good
Asset.
second income stream,
Yeah.
and my liability, the house, is now turning into an asset.
Amazing. Well done.
Thank you.
So we have done a walkthrough of this property before. That video is still fresh. You can check it out at the end of this video. We'll give you an opportunity to check it out as well. And Karen did give us her secret recipes, so don't feel left out if you're just meeting Karen today. But I want us to jump onto, you have now made this a business, right? And you've been a super host for how long? Super host is like the pinnacle, right?
Yeah, Superhost is what Airbnb, it's a performance evaluation, if you want to call it that,
Right.
that Airbnb does every quarter.
Right.
And if you tick certain boxes, they say that's fantastic, you are now Superhost.
Right.
You don't stay Superhost once you are Superhost, it's something that you need to achieve every quarter.
Okay.
So it could happen that maybe you don't tick one of the boxes
And you
and then you drop and then you need to work your way up.
Yeah. Okay, awesome stuff. You have now left your employment. But by the way, this is not a recent thing. By the time she was teaching me, she wasn't doing that anymore. And you made Airbnb the business. Or should I say, you were employed and you're looking for an alternative. Airbnb became your alternative. And Airbnb at some point was now giving you more money or the effort that you were putting in was more giving you more money, and you looked at your employment, you say, Karen, it doesn't make sense to be employed here, right? Because I'm always saying to people, if you're getting paid 30 grand, right, and you start a side hustle, and that side hustle, you're doing that side hustle like Saturdays and every hour in the evening, and this business is giving you now 60 grand, if you had to resign here and focus on this business an additional 10 hours, you're going to make more money, right? And that's basically what you did post that. And at maximum, how many properties were you doing or managing, and for it to become a business that you were comfortable with to leave your employment?
I think in my case, I'm trying to remember when did this become absolutely full-time. You can probably go full-time after, and how much money they're bringing in.
Right.
For me, it's all about, you need to know what is your current hourly rate.
Okay.
How much is your current employer paying you?
How can they know that? We were always talking about that. I'm always asking people,
What?
what's your hourly rate? Because if you know what your hourly rate, then, and I know when I was at the bank, right, my pay slip was very clear on what was my hourly rate, right? But people don't know that.
What's the money that appear in your bank account at
Right.
the end of the month? Divide that by how many hours is an 8 hour, what's it, 160?
Yeah.
Divide that by 160 and you know what is your hourly rate?
That's kind of like how much you're worth, right?
Yeah, that's how much you're worth.
Yeah, per hour.
The next thing you need to figure out is what is it, how much money do I want to make extra
Right.
over and above what I'm making now?
Okay.
And what do you want to do with that money? Sometimes that's the thing that comes first because you have a need and you have a desire. So if it is that you want to generate another income stream so that you can pay for your kids' school fees, how much is that going to be? How much do you need per year for that?
Right.
And then work out what do you want, how much is it going to cost,
Yeah.
so then you know how much money you need to make over and above what you're making now.
Right.
And then when you start doing Airbnb, then calculate your hourly rate. Because then you will get your Airbnb money in the bank at the end of the month. You will calculate how much you spent how many hours you spent on your Airbnb business in that month, part-time, because this is not something you're going to do full-time from the word go. And you will very quickly discover that it far outweighs the hourly rates that you earn in your work, in your job working for a boss, in most cases.
My friends, you have just missed an opportunity where you hit the table and say, preach, preach, because this was gold. Like, the way you've explained it.
The juice must be worth the squeeze.
Oh yeah.
If you're earning 3,000 Rand an hour on Airbnb, because you got a booking for 3,000 Rand and it only took an hour of your time from start to finish, and you are earning 1,200 Rand an hour from your boss, which one, in which case is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reverse of that is I get lots of people that call me up, TJ, can we do have coffee? And I'm like, for what? Because I know what's my hourly worth, right? And I'm like, okay, can we do this online? What are you looking for? Because I don't know you, and you're just saying, can we do coffee? By the way, I don't even do coffee, so I can't take coffee. My body doesn't like coffee. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, bro, you want to spend, how much is coffee again? Starbucks?
I have no idea.
Like
35 Rand.
35 Rand. So
maybe.
So investment on your return of 35 Rand was speaking to me, and I need to leave everything else that I'm doing to come and give you attention. I think you need to find a better lamb. Do you also get that?
Yeah.
On this current, let's just hook up coffee on me.
Sometimes, yes.
How
And
do you
people
do
don't
that?
people don't realize that net worth situation.
Yeah.
Um,
I can't.
What are you worth per hour?
I can't. I really can't these days. I struggle with that. Though I want to help people. And sometimes I ask them, so what is this all about? Or my team members ask them. I'm like, but I did a video on that. Go and watch the video. You know, and it can help you. My friends, you might be thinking that I'm slaying on you here. I'm not. I'm just saying that when you're trying to connect with someone, make it meaningful. It's not just about money, I get that. But make it meaningful for the next person. Really find a very tactful way of meeting so that you can get the juice, right? And you can also give. What are you willing to give so that the next person can connect with you? Karen, you've now gone into a different journey of, can we say that business? So you now, your bread and butter is good, right? Airbnb, you've got now team members on your team. The whole of last year, dude, each time I reached out to you, you were somewhere in Pompurisprate, Botterville, whatever it was. And I'm like, when I grow up, I want to be like Karen. But I can't do that now because I've got these kids that needs to go to school. But just tell us a little bit of the journey that you took on. I think for the rest of last year you traveled.
Yes, and the year before. In fact,
okay, showing off. All right.
Yeah. It started in November of 2021.
Right.
This very house where we're sitting today is the house where I started my first room on Airbnb.
Okay.
And then it just snowballed, and I ended up renovating the house and extending it so that it's now a 5-bedroom house.
Right. We covered that on the
Yes,
first
we
video
did.
and
So for many years, I lived in this house whilst I Airbnb'd the rooms in the house.
Right. Yes.
And that is when we did that previous video where we did a walkthrough and
Yes.
I showed you how everything fits together. And then I started getting inquiries from people wanting to book the entire 5-bedroom house.
Okay.
And after about the third inquiry that I received, I thought, Karen, this is a sign, man. You need to let go of this house now because people are wanting it.
Right.
And then I had a family come and stay here. They needed it for a month.
Okay.
I said, fantastic, I'm going to put my 2 huskies in the car and I'm going to go on a road trip in South Africa.
Right.
So you can have my house for a month. It's really not worth my while. You know, the juice must be worth the squeeze.
100%.
Not worth my while to move out of my house and
Yeah.
have that disruption for 3 days or 5 days. But if
Right.
you want it for a month, you can have it. They were on their way to immigrate to Canada. And they had some outstanding paperwork, and that's why they needed a place for a month, because they'd already gotten rid of their house.
Yeah.
And then halfway through November 2021, South Africa discovered the new COVID variant, and the entire world closed its doors on us.
Yeah.
So these people were stuck, they couldn't go anywhere.
Don't joke.
So I said, you know what? My mom said I was going to be home for Christmas, so it's fine. You can carry on staying. She wants me home. Let me go to Jeffreys Bay.
Right.
To cut a long story short, I haven't been back since.
And you just been on the road?
I come back here like now for a week, and I'll maybe do some touch-ups and some maintenance and do some renovations, because you always need to keep your place in tip-top shape.
Right.
So in between bookings, if there's a week or 2 gap, then I come and I stay here. And the rest of the time, I lived in Hout Bay for 2 months. I lived in Philippopolis for a month.
Hey, Hout Bay is my favorite place, bro. I discovered white sand. I'd never seen white sand ever in my life. That with the sun it only went down like at 11 that day. And Hout Bay, that's another video for another day. Yeah.
So yes, I've had the opportunity to travel all over the country. If it was not for
So
my...
you did Hout Bay?
Hout Bay, Hermanus,
Yeah.
Philip Willis,
Yeah.
made a trip to Botswana during that time, lived in Jeffreys Bay for a while, and now I'm off to the Western Cape permanently.
Permanently?
Yes.
Okay. Why are you moving?
Because I don't need to be in Johannesburg. My Airbnb properties here, through the systems and the procedures that I've set up over the years,
Yeah.
I don't need to be here. I spent a month in Reunion Island.
Yeah.
And I could run my properties from there without having a property manager, without having a co-host. So why do I really want to be in Johannesburg when I actually want to live in the Western Cape? And I can still operate my business from there.
That's amazing.
Mm.
I think that a lot of us, we go into business, but we actually don't understand why we're going into business. I think for me, for the longest time, it was about the money.
Mm.
And off late, I realized that it's not about the money. It is about, and this is Taurai speaking, right? But you can copy it if it makes sense to you. It is about the freedom that the money gives you and the choices that money gives you. So, Jenna and I, we've been now talking exactly the same thing. We've got a business, we've got team members in the businesses, it's functioning without me. Do we have to stay in Johannesburg? And at the moment, I think as a family, we want to look ahead on two things. School for the kids, because the big one is close now to matric, so we're thinking we might disrupt him. And our local church. I've been planted in my local church for 15 years. I started going through into that church when we were maybe about 900. We're sitting around about 10,000 people by a weekend. And my heart is there because I think I've been instrumental to all of these people, some of these people coming to the Lord, you know. So I don't know. That's my only gripe. But you have now started going into public speaking.
Yes, that is very exciting.
Which is a fear for most. They say that I don't know how true those stats are, 90% of the population will prefer to die than do public speaking. And there you are reigniting it, and you now want to make it a business over and above your Airbnb, because your Airbnb doesn't need you. So you got free time, dead time. Or should I say you have the freedom of time?
Yes.
Right. In the freedom of time that you now have, you discover, Karen loves public speaking. What made you to go into public speaking?
I think it's the same as the Airbnb business.
Oh, yeah?
If you want to be good at anything, you need to find a coach, do research, go on training.
Right.
So when I first, many years ago, when I first arrived from Port Elizabeth and started my job in Pretoria,
By the way, just change the names.
Beha.
There you go. You can pronounce it better than I do.
I didn't know a soul, and I was extremely shy in those days.
Right.
Contrary to popular belief.
Right.
When I left school and I started studying, I could not hold a conversation with more than one person without blushing from top to toe.
Right.
I was the shyest person on this planet. And then I dumped myself into the deep end, moving from Kabeja to Pretoria, not knowing a soul. And I thought, and it was way before smartphones and all of that, and I needed to network.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wanted to upskill myself, so I went to Toastmasters International.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know you're a Toastmaster.
I am.
Okay.
I was, in fact, the first female president of that club in its entire existence.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
All right.
I eventually became the president of the club after many years.
Yeah.
And through practicing and networking and doing Toastmasters, I really came to love Toastmasters.
Right.
And even now with my workshops, I'm not scared to get on stage and talk about Airbnb and that, because I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And I thrive on the energy of the audience.
Great.
So the public speaking side has almost flown naturally from that.
Sure.
Because now my message is so much bigger.
Right.
It's not just about Airbnb, and it's a lot about more the motivation behind why you want to do Airbnb. You know, we spoke earlier about what is it that you want to achieve, how much is it going to cost you, how much are you earning now, what is the gap, what is the motivation for you to get there, and is that motivation really big enough? So my message is now a lot around that.
Right.
And then of course with Airbnb being the vehicle that people can use to get there is at the back end of it.
Yeah, so recently you got invited to quite a big stage.
Yes.
And we're celebrating you on that.
Thank you.
And you mentioned to me that there was around about how many? 70?
There were 77 speakers in total over a 2-day conference.
And they chose you to come and speak there.
It was such an inspirational event.
Yeah.
And when I received the list, because I asked them beforehand if they can please share with me the list of other speakers and what they're going to be talking about. Because I wanted to have an idea, because this event was completely out of my comfort zone. Completely out of my niche. It was all about agriculture, and it was about the countryside, and the theme was solutions for South Africa's countryside.
Okay.
And people spoke on a very topics.
Yeah.
So I looked at the list and I thought, sure, what on earth? How am I going to fit in with this?
Did you withdraw your application?
No, I was so excited.
Your nominee, I'm like, please.
No, you know what it is, TJ.
Yeah.
If you want, you know the story. If you want to achieve something, you need to associate with people who are already there.
Oh, yeah.
You need to rub shoulders with them.
Oh, yeah.
And this for me was an opportunity to rub shoulders with people who unknowingly are already motivating others to achieve greatness.
Amazing.
So it was a very humbling experience.
Yeah.
And inspirational, and very few of the people who spoke there were professional speakers. They were just normal people telling their story.
Aren't we all normal people?
And how they've overcome whatever obstacles they had. And
what is the event called?
The event was hosted by the Landbou Weekblad magazine.
Right, you got that right.
In case you didn't know, it's the largest, I think, agricultural magazine in the country. It's been going for so many years. It's in the Media 24 group.
Sure.
And they held a 2-day conference about oplossings vir Suid-Afrika se platteland. Solutions for South Africa's countryside.
So why didn't you say that in the beginning?
Because it's an Afrikaans magazine,
and
it was an Afrikaans conference. Yeah. So, there were English-speaking people as well, English speakers, and it was very diverse. And I walked away from there so inspired and having met so many new people that I'm sure I'm going to be networking with in future.
Oh, wow. Karen, I'm picking up a few things about you. That you may know these things about yourself.
Let's hear.
But I'm picking up that your successes as an adult they are either ignited or leapfrogged with networking.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Networking is so important.
And you need to do it all the time, because you never know when you are going to meet somebody that you can help or they can help you. Because it goes both ways.
Right.
Networking is about give and take.
Amazing stuff. If any of you are in the public speaking space and obviously looking for a speaker, Karen now does this professionally. You know, I don't do it. I'm still working on it. I'm still going to school around it. I'm great at it, but not as good as Karen. So where can people get hold of you? They're doing a thing at their workplaces, in their businesses that they have. So you're mainly on the motivational space. That's your skill set of public speaking. Where can they get a hold of you?
They can just pop over to my website, smartairbnbs.com.
Right.
There's a button there to click if you are interested to chat to me about being a speaker at your event.
Right.
And that's probably the easiest place to find me.
Amazing stuff. So my friends, we are going to put the website for Karen in the description of the video. And you might also see it just popping up, but you can't click on it on the video. Go into the description and then you can click it in there, and then you can jump onto her website, book her, and show some love. Let her know when she has come to your event. How amazing was she? Or what does she need to improve?
Yes.
Because we are a people that needs to be improving. Karen, I've seen people that also do Airbnb off Airbnb. Is that a thing?
What do you mean off Airbnb?
So recently we're just going into solution mode now. I got someone who called me the other day and says, TJ, I've had my clients coming over to me and we became friends, and so they extended their stay. And I said, yeah, great, no problem. So where's the problem? She says, no, then I said they can pay me instead of Airbnb. I said, right. So what's the problem now? Apparently they're not paying, and they've been staying there for the last 2 months.
I'm not surprised.
So I said, but you said you're doing Airbnb. And she says, no, but I'm doing off Airbnb now. Is this a thing?
That's the risk you take.
Right.
It's the risk you take if you want to contract outside of Airbnb.
Mm.
And strictly speaking, it is in contravention of your terms of service with Airbnb if you are a host. So it is not advisable to do it.
Yeah.
It's not only the risk of that person not paying you, it is also the risk of something going wrong,
Yeah.
and then you are not covered by Airbnb's insurance.
Right.
So huge risk if you want to contract outside of Airbnb. And a host in America,
Yeah.
recently, in the last month, had a situation where not him, but his guest was caught in the act. He caught his guest in the act.
Right.
The guest booked with him,
Yeah.
and then he extended outside of Airbnb,
Right.
and then refused to pay him.
Ooh.
So the host decided to use the CCTV footage
Right.
on his property, on the outside of his property,
Yeah.
and to contact the guest's wife
Aibo.
to share some valuable footage.
This sounds like Jerry Springer issues now, eh?
It does. And now the media is saying Airbnb host is getting sued by a guest.
Oh no,
Well, it's not really the case. It was not an Airbnb, because with Airbnb, no pay, no stay.
Right.
It's as easy as that.
Right. I thought, let me close off with this here to let you know that, my friends, if you decide to do something, just go in it. Don't decide to go through sideways, trying to make it work for your own convenience. These systems are there for a reason. So thank you, Karen, for being here. It's been great hanging out with you again. And my friends, this is it. But if you do have any other questions around specifically the public speaking for Karen, and you can't find the link or whatever it is, in the comments, just drop in your name, your cell phone number, whatever that you're comfortable to share with us. We will reach out to you, and then thereafter we can put you in the contact. If you're kind of getting confused, right? But other than that, it's been great hanging out with you as well. Don't go away. Check out the next video. It is I, TJ. We check it out. Boom, boom. Karen, yeah.
Can we just stop this sweeping now?
No, I don't want you.
It's
Too far.
Alright. Otherwise I can close the window. Sorry.
Karen, be here, please.
Oh yeah, okay.
My friends, if any of you are in the public space, well, if any of you are in the public speaking space and